Hey everyone, Ben Heath here with another Magic Online video. Today I thought I'd do something different, get away from Modern, because everyone's focusing on Modern PTQ season right now, including myself. I've got my deck ready for the Manchester PTQ. Some of you know what it is, most of you don't, and I'd rather keep it that way. Anyway, today we will be focusing on a different format, Pauper. I've gone and built myself Pauper Affinity. It's an aggressive deck, and I like aggressive decks. Just put down a creature and bash your face in. That's my kind of deck. We'll start with the artifacts, of course. 18 lands. Now you may notice that all the lands are artifact lands. You've got 2 Darksteel Citadel, 4 Tree of Tales, 4 Great Furnace, 4 Seats of the Synod, and 4 Ancient Den. But the mana base is also very varied, very clunky. Sometimes you need a specific colour and you haven't got it, which is why we'll move on to the mana fixes. Now, the glaring omission from the mana fixes is Springleaf Drum. The reason I've left it out is that for Springleaf Drum you need a creature, and sometimes the creature's in your hand and you can't cast it because you need the creature for the Springleaf Drum in order to activate it. And this isn't Modern Affinity or Legacy Affinity where you can put down 0 drops, so you actually have to have a creature up to begin with. So I've taken Springleaf Drum out and I've stuck instead Chromatic Sphere and Chromatic Star, 4 of each. The reason I've done this is, yes, they're one-time use only, but they are cantrips as well, and you get to draw off them, so they replace themselves, which is very useful. You've also got 4 Prophetic Prism as a cantrip and as a mana fixer as well. Onto the actual creatures, you've got 4 Frogmite and 4 Myr Enforcer. These are staples of any Pauper Affinity deck, and indeed Modern sometimes with the Frogmites, hardly with the Myr Enforcer anymore, but at the time these were must-haves in the deck. And then you've got your non-artifact creatures, but they all benefit from the artifacts nonetheless. You've got 3 Auriok Sunchaser. If I just bring this out, as long as you've got Metalcraft, it becomes a 3/3 and gains flying, and has flying. Sorry. So it's effectively a 2-mana 3/3 flyer, very useful indeed. You've then got Ardent Recruit. It's a 1-drop, but it's a 1-mana 1/1, but Metalcraft, it gets +2/+2 as long as you control 3 more artifacts. So again, it's effectively a 1-mana 3/3, very useful. Carapace Forger, it's a 1/1 green for a 2/2, but with Metalcraft, it's really a 4/4. And Atog. This is what gives you the oops I win kills. Sacrifice an artifact, Atog gets +2/+2 until end of turn, and with all the artifacts you're playing around 40. I don't know exactly how many artifacts I'm playing, but there have been games where I've killed people just with Atog. For your support, you've got Galvanic Blast, which is effectively a 1-mana deal 4 damage to target creature or player. That's very important because this is Pauper, and not a lot of Pauper cards have converted mana costs, have a toughness even of more than 4. So that's a 1-mana kill spell really. And every Affinity deck needs Thoughtcast, Affinity for artifacts. So you pay 1 less, you pay 1 mana less for every artifact in play. And because most of the deck is artifacts, you effectively just get to pay 1 blue and draw 2 cards. This is what gives your deck reach. So it's all very good, all very a lot of synergy in the deck. I've been testing it. I've played 1 daily, but I didn't do too well. That was my own fault really. I just went straight in without doing any practice, and paid for it. So your sideboard, you've got 4 Standard Bearer. Standard Bearer is very useful against decks which have spot removal and infect. Standard Bearer says, whilst choosing targets as part of casting a spell or activating an ability, your opponents must target the Flag Bearer if it can. It's very useful against spot removal, so you can keep all your big guys out whilst your Standard Bearer takes the hit. And Infect as well. Infect gets a cheap creature out and then uses a lot of instant sorceries and enchantments such as Rancor to pump them up. So if you've got a Standard Bearer out, they all have to target Standard Bearer, and that's huge. It basically plays a Spellskite role in Pauper. You've then got 4 Ancient Grudge. The Ancient Grudges are actually for the mirror. You need a full 4 because you need a full 4 because you just it's basically a war of attrition. Whoever can get their artifacts out and kill the others first wins. So you want to get ahead. You want to get ahead, and then you want to keep ahead. I like to play it that way anyway. Some people prefer to be the controller and just wait, let them use all their resources, kill them off, and then get some board position in. But I prefer just to keep up the pressure. I find that I play better when I have good board position and I feel that I'm on top. The Scale of Chisgoria, terrible card, but against aggro, it's effectively a ramp card. Scale of Chisgoria says it has flash and affinity for artifacts, and because your Frogmites also have affinity for artifacts but cost 1 more, you can flash in Scale, and then you also pay 1 less for Frogmite. So there's been games where I've flashed in Scale in order to played Scale in order to bring in Frogmite, and it's really helped me. In the aggro matchups, everything's got the same power and toughness, or it's very common for everything to have the same power and toughness. So giving your creatures +0/+1 is surprisingly very useful, I find. The last card of the sideboard is Auriok Clan's Shaman. There's a Storm deck. I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called, but basically it generates lots and lots of Storm in order to play Empty the Warrens in order to get 40 odd goblins out, and then they'll play Goblin Bushwhacker to give them all haste. By putting Auriok Clan Shaman in your deck, it basically means that they effectively fizzle and then they have to go again, and that really slows them down. They don't like seeing Auriok Clan Shaman on the board. So that's the deck. I've taken the deck through a few practice games and the odd 2-man as well. So hopefully this time I know what I'm doing compared to my last video. So I will take part in a daily, and I will see you for round 1.